All right, magic and teenage angst. That's what we're diving into today with Season of.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
It is. We're looking at excerpts from the novel, and it all centers around Sabrina.
Sabrina the Half-Witch.
That's the one. And she's turning 16, which means
Uh-oh, big decisions.
you got it. Dark baptism time. Full witchhood or staying mortal. Friends, Harvey. Tough call.
Classic coming of age, but with a magical twist. That's what makes it so captivating. All those relatable teenage anxieties mixed with, magic, allure, danger.
Right. It's not just choosing magic, it's potentially losing everything. Normal life, friends, Harvey, even just going to Baxter High. One line that really hit me was,
Do tell.
she says, "The world I know is slipping a little further out of my grip, but then in almost the same breath, I still love magic."
Pulled in two directions. That's Sabrina in a nutshell, isn't it? It even makes us think, what would Porty E sacrifice? For power, for belonging, for our dreams even.
So this dark baptism, what's the deal with that? What actually happens? It sounds pretty intense.
Intense is putting it mildly. It's like a magical coming-of-age ceremony. The moment witches fully embrace their powers, pledge allegiance to the Dark Lord.
Okay, so supernatural confirmation.
Exactly. But with way higher stakes. And for Sabrina, half mortal, it's even more complicated.
Choosing one side of herself over the other, no pressure, right?
And her family doesn't make it any easier. We've got her aunts, Hilda and Zelda, powerful witches, but total opposites.
Oh yeah, Zelda, super strict, all about the Dark Lord and the rules.
Right, the embodiment of tradition and obedience. Then you've got Hilda, warmer, more nurturing, maybe even a little rebellious.
I like her already, but it must create some tension in the house.
Oh, definitely. It makes you wonder, will their differing views influence Sabrina's final decision?
For sure. And then there's Ambrose, her cousin, adding another layer of intrigue.
Oh, Ambrose, under house arrest for some past transgression.
But also the one who seems to get Sabrina, gives advice, even if it's a little cynical sometimes.
He's seen it all, the cool but jaded older brother figure. But his advice often has this darkness to it. Makes me think, will he help Sabrina or lead her towards trouble?
Good question. And speaking of trouble, let's not forget the love spell. Sabrina, with Ambrose's help, tries to make Harvey more devoted.
Oh, that love spell. Talk about backfiring. Harvey becomes obsessive, even dangerous. It raises the question, can you really force love with magic?
Be careful what you wish for, especially when it comes to magic and hearts.
It's like the story's asking, does it violate free will?
Yeah.
Does it cheapen love somehow?
Deep stuff. So on top of all this, Sabrina's still trying to be a normal teenager. We meet Harvey, good-hearted, totally clueless about the magic.
Harvey and his brother Tommy represent the two sides of the mortal world Sabrina's holding on to.
Tommy, whose dreams got crushed by Greendale, stuck working in the mines. Heartbreaking.
Right, it shows the disillusionment, the feeling trapped. Harvey sees that, and maybe his attraction to Sabrina is partly a desire to escape that fate.
Like they're both searching for something more, but that's what's so dangerous about that wishing well spirit.
Oh, she preys on that longing, promises power, beauty, even offers a spell to unlock Sabrina's full potential.
Red flags galore.
Definitely. She's not who she seems. And it shows Sabrina's journey is about more than just choices. It's about navigating the dangers within the magical world itself.
Because guess what? That wishing well spirit, she's actually a Rusalka, a malevolent entity.
Yikes. Talk about a plot twist.
Yeah.
She doesn't just want wishes. She wants to possess Sabrina, use her for evil.
Luckily, Sabrina escapes and runs home to her family for protection.
It shows the importance of family, that even witches need a safe haven.
It really does. But this whole Rusalka thing, it leads Sabrina to a huge decision.
She breaks the love spell, realizes manipulating Harvey isn't real love. She'd rather face uncertainty and know his true feelings.
Wow, brave move. So what happens to Harvey? And what about this whole witch world power dynamic?
Well, we're introduced to Father Blackwood, High Priest of the Church of Night.
He runs the Academy of Unseen Arts, right?
Exactly. And he's got plans for Sabrina. Plans that might not be so great.
Uh-oh. I'm getting a bad feeling about this.
He wants to control her, use her for his own gain. Definitely red flag territory.
We also meet Nick Scratch, a warlock at the Academy who seems interested in Sabrina.
Nick Scratch. Charismatic, but is he genuine or playing games?
A love triangle. Sabrina's got her work cut out for her.
It's a classic setup. Family drama, love, power struggles, and all this before Sabrina even sets foot in the academy.
Sounds like things are about to get intense. Sabrina breaking that love spell. That was a powerful move. It shows she's thinking about what kind of witch she wants to be.
It does. Trusting in their relationship, even if it means risking heartbreak.
But the love spell, I can't help but wonder, did it leave a mark on Harvey? His feelings seemed so strong.
The lingering effects of magic. It's a question the exos don't fully answer, but it makes you think. Did it just amplify what was already there or create something artificial?
Right. Makes you think twice about love potions. But speaking of complex feelings, Harvey's dealing with a lot too. His family, those expectations.
Absolutely. He's feeling pulled in different directions, just like Sabrina. That pressure to be a certain kind of man, it mirrors her struggle in a way.
And then there's Tommy. His story is just heartbreaking. All those dreams crushed.
He's a cautionary tale, isn't he? Showing what can happen when those pressures win. It makes you wonder, is Harvey drawn to Sabrina, to the magic she represents, as a way to escape that fate?
That search for something more. It's what made the Rusalka so dangerous too.
Oh, absolutely. She preyed on that longing. But the Ruthalka herself, she's such a fascinating villain.
Like a dark fairy tale, right? Alluring, tempting, but with a dark side.
She represents that seductive danger hiding beneath the surface. Easy solutions, quick power, but at what cost?
Thankfully, Sabrina escaped. But she couldn't have done it without her family.
That's so important. Even with all their quirks, they rallied around her. A reminder that family can be a source of strength, even for a witch.
Totally agree. But speaking of mysterious figures, we can't forget Mrs. Wardwell, Sabrina's teacher, with that hidden connection to the witch world.
Ooh, yes. Mrs. Wardwell. That interest in local history, especially witches, I have a feeling there's more to her than meets the eye.
I think so too. And then there's the whole power dynamic in the witch world. Father Blackwood, his reaction to the Rusalka's failure, that was chilling.
Oh, it went beyond anger. That was fear, pure and simple. He sees Sabrina as a valuable asset, and the thought of someone else controlling her. Terrifying.
And remember that scene where he scolds Nick Scratch for reading love poetry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a small detail, but it reveals so much. Blackwood's disdain for anything outside the witch world. He wants that strict separation, no mixing allowed.
But Sabrina wants to embrace both sides of herself. It's like she's a challenge to his whole worldview.
Exactly. And then, amidst all this darkness and tension, we have Harvey's confession.
So sweet, right. He's loved her since they were kids, wants to marry her.
But the question remains, are those feelings truly his? Or was there some lingering influence from the love spell?
And even if they are real, can their love survive when Sabrina's magic is still a secret?
It's a huge hurdle. But Sabrina chooses to trust him, even with all the uncertainty.
That takes guts. And she doesn't just trust Harvey. She stands up to those who've tried to put her down. That scene with the weird sisters.
Oh, yes. When she just barrels through them. Talk about a power move.
No more being the victim. She's claiming her space, her power, and she's not apologizing for it.
It's a turning point for her, embracing her dual nature, her strength, and then that scene with Ambrose before dinner.
When he calls her sunlight in prison.
So poignant. It shows their bond, the challenges they both face. Ambrose, trapped by his past, sees Sabrina as a symbol of hope and freedom.
He's almost giving her permission to live the life he can't. And then, that reveal about the love spell.
Wow. Turns out he was trying to protect Sabrina all along, wanted her to see Harvey's true colors, whether good or bad.
It adds a whole new dimension to their relationship. And it makes you think, can magic be used for good? Where's the line between protection and interference?
Such complex questions.
Ah.
And in the end, Sabrina decides to walk her own path, to be her own kind of witch.
That's what stuck with me, a declaration of independence, a refusal to be defined by anyone else's expectations. Her own kind of witch. It's like a battle cry, isn't it?
It is. She's staking her claim, refusing to be boxed in by anyone. Not Blackwood, not the Weird Sisters, not even her aunts, really.
They all have their own ideas of what she should be. But Blackwood, he's the one I'm most worried about. That fear he showed when the Rusalka failed.
It was palpable, wasn't it? He needs to control Sabrina.
Mm-hmm.
Her power, her potential, it all threatens him.
And that tiny detail, him snapping at Nick Scratch about the love poetry.
Oh, so telling. Anything outside the witch world, it's like a personal affront to him. But Sabrina, she embraces both sides.
She's a walking contradiction to everything Blackwood stands for. But let's get back to her and Harvey for a second. That confession, I mean.
So heartfelt, right? Loved her since they were kids, wants to marry her. But the love spell lingers in the back of your mind.
Yeah, you can't help but wonder, are those his feelings? Or echoes of magic?
But even if they are real, can their love survive the truth? Sabrina's magic is a huge secret, and it can blow everything up.
The ultimate test. But Sabrina, she chooses to believe him, even with all the doubt.
That's real strength, I think. To trust, to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
even after being hurt before. Sometimes you have to take that leap of faith.
And she doesn't just do it with Harvey. That scene where she stands up to the weird sisters. Fine.
One at a time, right? She just plows through them. No more cowering or shrinking.
She's done with being their target, embraces her power, her magic, all of it.
And then that quiet moment with Ambrose before dinner, calling her sunlight in prison. It gets me every time.
It's beautiful, but also kind of sad. He sees her freedom, the life he can't have anymore.
He's passing the torch, in a way, encouraging her to break free. And to think, that whole love spell thing, he did it for her.
To protect her. It's twisted, but kind of sweet. He wanted her to see Harvey clearly, even if it meant manipulating things.
It raises those big questions, doesn't it? Can magic be used for good? Where does protection become interference? That's what makes this story so compelling. It makes you think.
And Sabrina, in the end, she decides to be her own kind of witch. A path that's hers and hers alone.
A perfect ending. She chooses her own destiny. And honestly, that's something we can all learn from, right? Embrace who you are, challenge expectations, fight for your own truth. That's the real magic, isn't it?
It really is. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Season of, we have to ask, what about you? What would you do if faced with Sabrina's choices? Magic, love, power, it's all on the line. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and until next time, keep exploring those big questions.